So I'm going to break down the Mandalorian Season 3 episodes in order of what was my least favourite all the way up to my top favourite episode. So this is my list, so please try and keep it PG and don't attack me if you don't agree, okay? So let's get straight in. I'm going to say it in episode format, in chapter format, and then the name of it, because although the seasons have 8 episodes or so in each season, they are chaptered all the way up from 1 to 24. So I'm just going to say them the way they are in case you need to go and look yourself. So in 8th place, very bottom of my list, is episode 3, also known as chapter 19, The Convert. I thought that this was the ultimate side quest mission that made absolutely no sense in the giant grand scale of the show. Yeah, they did some stuff to try and show how Moff Gideon was still alive and stuff like that, but it really sidetracked completely from Mando and even Bo-Katan and even the Mandalorians as a whole, and took us with some New Republic officers. And yeah, look, in the end, I just didn't like it. It was a very boring episode, although the first 10 minutes until the title card shows up was fantastic. In 7th place is episode 6. This is chapter 22, called Guns for Hire. Again, another side quest episode. I didn't like this, really, to be honest with you. Lizzo and Jack Black are in it, so it's full of cameos, but it just wasn't great. It was just kind of a sidetrack mission for no reason, and I wasn't really a fan of it. In 6th place is episode 1, chapter 17, The Apostate. I really hope that I've pronounced that right. But yeah, look, it was the opening of the entire season, so of course it was just kind of getting back to basics with Mando and Grogu. The ending teased kind of like what Bo-Katan's role was going to be in the entire season, and they teased going back to Mandalore, so that was pretty cool, but you know, compared to some of the other episodes, it wasn't my favorite. In 5th place is episode 4, chapter 20, The Foundling. A lot of people have probably rated this episode a lot lower than I have, but I actually enjoyed it. And yes, it is a side quest episode again, but I liked this because there was lots of Mandalorians involved. There was a battle against some really cool creatures. It showed us where the Mandalorians were hiding out and kind of how they were living. And to be honest, I just really liked the action in this episode. We are halfway there. In 4th place is episode 2, chapter 18, The Mines of Mandalore. I thought that this was good because it followed on from episode 1, where we were teased that we were going to go back to Mandalore, and we went there straight away. And I loved how Bo-Katan came to save Mando. Like, yeah, a lot of people are complaining that Bo-Katan was basically the main character of this season, but if you've watched my season 3 review, you're going to know that I'm a big fan of her character, so I didn't really care. I kind of liked seeing her there, and yeah, it was cool to see Mandalore as a planet for the first time, really, in the show, and I really liked the creatures that were shown, the vibe of the planet, and the soundtrack in this episode was pretty good too. Now we're going to the top 3, and I have to just say, I keep saying tree. I'm Irish, so I'm going to say it like that. I see a lot of people that view my videos are Americans, and you guys say 3, but in Ireland I say tree. I say tree, so I'm going to keep it up that way, and I don't care. So yeah, in 3rd place is episode 5, chapter 21, The Pirate. I know a lot of people probably didn't like this episode, and again, it is a side quest episode like a lot of the episodes in this, but I liked this a lot more because I felt like there was a grand scale of action. The pirates attack Navarro, where the Mandalorian is basically staying and keeping it safe, and I just really liked the scale of the action, to be honest. I thought the big ship that came and all the civilians are running around and stuff, it kind of gave me that vibe that, okay, there's actually stakes to this fight. It's not just kind of like a side quest. It felt, well, actually, yeah, it was a side quest, but it kind of felt like it had more weight to it than some of the other side quests that happened throughout this season. But look, the top 2, and I don't think this is probably going to be any surprise, in 2nd place is episode 7, chapter 23, The Spies. Moff Gideon was back in this episode. The action was insane. The stakes were raised. The ending was absolutely amazing, and I just absolutely loved it from start to finish. The soundtrack in this was just absolutely goosebumps inducing. It was so good, and the visuals, everything about it, it just felt like everything was starting to finally come together. And I think that's owed a lot to Moff Gideon's entrance, because as I said in my season 3 review, the show was really lacking that main villain. throughout the entire first half of it. Yeah, you know that he was lurking there somewhere, and there was little teasers that he was still alive, but when Moff Gideon really shows up in episode 7, that is when the show hit the ground running for me. Was it a little bit too late? Maybe, but I absolutely loved it. And in first place, without a shadow of a doubt, in my opinion, is episode 8, chapter 24, The Return. This is the battle for Mandalore. All of the Mandalorians against Moff Gideon and his army on Mandalore. It's just absolutely insane, and I loved it. The visuals in this, the fight scenes in this was just so good. There was one scene where the Mandalorians and Moff Gideon's army just fly towards each other and are just absolutely scrapping in the air with jetpacks. Loved it. While on the ground, the Mandalorian is fighting Moff Gideon. It was just amazing. And then Bo-Katan comes in with a Darksaber. Grogu uses the Force some more. It was just absolutely perfect. But yeah, look, I really loved it. And let me know your list below. These are just my opinions, so please don't hate on me if yours is completely opposite. But please, I'd actually really love to hear everybody else's opinions, and drop your episode ranking in the comments below and let me know, and we can have a little conversation about it.